first question of the NFL nickel package. Is Aaron Rodgers officially back, or is he still cooked?
Man.
No.
Why are you looking at me?
No. Yeah, can I say this?
Yes.
I'm going to try to be as fair as I can, all right? It was like the Eminem song from Cinderella Man, okay? Just admit when it's at its end. It's not quite at its end yet. Okay? Can we say that? It's not quite at the end, but I'm on the highway right now and I see negs eggs at the end. KG. That's what when I look at Aaron Rodgers, you're still going to have moments. He showed everybody last night. I have to be cognizant of what I saw with my two eyes. Okay, was it vintage Aaron Rodgers? No, but I can't call it the end, KG.
He dead and he ain't coming back. I buried him last week. It's over. He died on that field in 2022.
Not only is he dead, he's actively killing the Jets franchise.
That's true. That's
actively killing.
They're
and they're
screwed
like,
for years.
Yeah. They are gamble-holic at the casino that's got their last $110.
Yeah, for real.
And they're already 400 in, and it's over. Like the next stop is divorce.
It is. It's next exit. I agree with that. Next
divorce. The children aren't going to be there when he gets home. His shit's going to be out in the lawn. Like that's it. It's over.
KDK Law.
Yeah.
Kevin and Catherine.
Maybe y'all will realize it once they
over.
don't make the playoffs. Maybe y'all will realize it then.
No, they're never going to.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we got him back for now. Well, hey, you guys want a little secret? And
he not coming back.
I wrote this down when I heard it because it's something where next year they have to decide in the offseason whether or not they want to ride. Mm-hmm. Because here are their choices next year. They bring him back to quarterback again at a $40 million salary.
And who wants to do that?
Right? Or 45.
Some stupid.
A big salary number. Which is not guaranteed, by the way. But the minute they exercise it, it becomes guaranteed. Mm-hmm. They either bring him back at that number or they cut him with $70 million of dead cap. Those are their two choices.
Well, do you know what the reality is, too? If we can, this is twofold. This isn't all Aaron Rodgers, okay? They weren't that good to begin with either. They weren't.
You sure about that?
If this was their magnum opus, where they thought this was the move, this is it. Much like we talked about earlier, Neal, the Rams making that deal, they felt like Matthew Stafford and a couple other nips and tucks, in fairness, was their magnus opus, and that was what was going to put them on top. Can we be honest? The Robert Saleh hype train and the Jet hype train wasn't that good to begin with. There are multiple holes on this roster, and Aaron Rodgers has done a fantastic job of exposing those multiple holes as well.
That's where I get off the highway. Robert Saleh never had a fair shake. His first year was Zach Wilson. Why the hell would you draft Zach Wilson?
But that's the price you pay for that defense.
Yeah, that's true. And, the next 2 years, Aaron Rodgers blows his leg out, and then you get Aaron Rodgers this year. So I was told they had all this talent around him. I was told they had a dominant defense. I was told they had one of the best receivers in the league and running backs in the league. So I just don't understand. You have all the talent in the world. Why do they look like this? Well, Robert Saleh wasn't the problem.
Here's the difference. I think Robert Saleh wasn't the solution either.
Maybe not.
And that,
but we don't know for real.
I can't help but think back to when the Lions and Jets played a couple of years ago, remember?
Yeah.
And the Lions were struggling mightily, and the Jets were surely going to make the playoff. Do you know what I heard ad nauseum from people? And I'm not saying that you were one of them, but I heard ad nauseum from people, maybe the Lions hired the wrong coach. Okay, how has that worked out 2 years later?
I agree.
How has that worked out later?
Bring him home.
I'm sorry, he
wasn't.
Wasn't the miracle worker that a lot of people said he was. I'm not specifically blaming it on him because I'm going to repeat what I said.
He never had a fair shake, man.
There were other issues with that roster. Okay,
yeah.
It wasn't just Aaron Rodgers. There were other issues with that roster. However, that hype train's fresh in my mind. Going into that December 22 game made me sick to my stomach because there are certain people out there, and you know who you are, that were just shoving Robert Saleh down my throat. And I didn't want to hear it then, and I certainly don't want to hear it now, and you're not going to bring it either. So let's call it for what it is. Boy, shocker, a team in New York got overhyped.
Yeah.
Wow, right. what a stunner that is.
Second down.
Second question of the NFL nickel package. Can San Francisco still get the 1 seed in the NFC?
Hell no.
They're 3 games back of the Lions. They're 2 games back of the Commanders and the Eagles. It's over.
Are they dangerous still? Yes. Can they be number 1? No.
If they're healthy, but that's the problem. They're
Yep.
never healthy.
Yep.
And they have not been the same since Christian McCaffrey left. Let's just be real about it.
They are at Green Bay on November 24th. They chase that with a game at Buffalo. They're at Miami. They're at the Cardinals. They're at the Bucks. They got their weak-ass division. Oh, they got to play the Lions still.
Oh, yeah. That's a
Can
loss.
I? All right.
No.
Can I tell you something that I'm not joking? I might go doo-doo in my pants, though. Can you imagine having to face the Niners in the first playoff game at Ford
No,
Field?
would not like that. Don't want that.
So are you checking yourself for doo-doo as well?
A little bit.
I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think. I want to think about seeing the Vikings. Oh no! Here comes Sam Darnold. I don't want to think about Frisco, especially God forbid Frisco suddenly starting to get healthy, coming into Ford Field in the 3rd week of January. I want nothing to do with that.
Listen, the Niners been on life support for the past few years now, and I don't think we've noticed. Last year, they literally limped through the playoffs.
You don't fear them?
No. They are not the same.
I don't have.
Next question of the NFL Nickel Package.
Yes.
Will this finally be the week Patrick Mahomes doesn't throw an interception?
And let's pour some out for Sam
Shout out
Flannel.
Sam Flannel.
We started this about 6 weeks ago. Sean, surely this is the week
This
that
has got to
Patrick.
be the
It's
week.
got to
right?
be the week.
It's got to be the week.
He's the greatest of all time.
Who they going against this
It's
week?
got to be the week.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
They're sick. It bothers me. Like it bothers me. It just. I'm sorry. I
No,
say it again.
they're winning on defense now.
They win every way. They do. They find a way to win. It bothers me. It scares the shit out of me come February. I'm
They
not
the
going to lie.
luckiest
I'm going to keep saying
unbeaten
it.
team ever. Because, they should not be unbeaten right now. That's the biggest surprise of the year, that they're unbeaten at this point.
They
I
just
thought
keep going.
when they were losing to the Raiders in the second quarter,
Yeah.
I was like, here we go. Mm-hmm. And then they end up winning.
You
They
can
end up
turn
winning.
off the game. You know it. Like, we're at that point in time where they could be down by 17 points to the Chargers, and the guy, oh, cool, I got some shit to do outside. Wait, don't you want to watch the Chiefs lose? What are you talking about? They're not going to lose. I've seen this script before. I want nothing to do with it. It makes me sick.
Yes, this is the week. That's the answer to the question.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Where are we at?
All right, next
Fourth
question
down?
of the NFL Nickel Package. Question number 4.
All right.
Does fantasy football kind of suck this year?
Yes.
Only if you suck at fantasy football.
You're right.
No,
I'm
like,
having a great year.
I'm doing all right, but yeah.
3 leagues, I'm having a great year.
You know what I'm saying? Just like what we brought up about Mahomes. Like he has weeks where he doesn't throw a touchdown pass.
That's
like
why you shouldn't have picked Mahomes.
The brand name. You know what I'm saying though? Like the brand names are not delivering. Jared Goff has the same amount of touchdown receptions as Tyreek
I was
Hill.
about to say, golf been going crazy in our fantasy league. Yeah.
I have to take myself out of this. You know this. I did fantasy shows forever. I did a fantasy focus thing on Fox 2. The greatest decision that I made on accident, I might add, was not playing during the COVID year. I had done it. I had done it for 31 years. My first year was 1989.
Wow.
Okay? Yes, I'm old. And I thought, I'm spending this much money.
Did you guys use abacuses to
Yeah,
figure
we
it out?
did. Well, we used
You
mail.
left lineups on an answering machine.
No, you did. That's the worst part. You had to have it on our commissioner's answering machine by 11 o'clock because then he had to mail out the lineups on Friday morning. And by the way, it might not get to your house.
Right.
So you had to call the commissioner on Sunday morning to go, dude, I didn't get my who's Neal's starting lineup?
How was that
Legitimately.
even fun?
Okay.
And then you didn't know the results till Monday. You had to agree which paper. You had to agree which newspaper
the
it
Detroit
was.
News late edition.
USA
You had
Today.
And,
Monday.
And then I found on the radio an old buddy of mine, shout out Charch, Paul Charchian, and the dudes from, I forget, was it FanDuel? I forget what they were running at the time, would have a show on Sunday night on the radio where they literally read box scores. It was the greatest radio show in the history of
That's
mankind.
crazy.
I sat there with my pants down every single week, listening to them read box scores. It
This
was
is
the
some
greatest
Stone Age
show ever.
shit, man.
All right, thank God I was born in the future.
But hear me out.
way.
In
I was
2020,
born in the future.
guys,
No
in
way.
2020, I was in a league. I don't even want to tell you how much it was, $1,000, where I was like, there's no way in hell I'm spending $1,000 to get into a fantasy football league in a year where if Neal sneezes in week 2, he might be out for 2 games.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Greatest decision I ever made. I don't think I'm ever going to jump back in. So, like I said, I have to take myself out of that equation. To sit back and watch football again and not be like this has been awesome. I love every second of it. Every second of it.
Max Smith, Neal, old AF. Dude, this was like 1997.
True.
Yeah, it's
Old AF.
True.
It's like 1997.
I'm
man.
glad I was born when, we were reading books and
Right.
like
And
not
computers
reading off of
actually
stone
existed.
tablets like you guys were. Jesus Christ.
How was that even
All right.
fun?
All right, welcome back to the 21st century, guys. Who is your MVP right now? Final question of the nickel package.
Jared Goff. Jared Goff for real.
Yeah,
Tell me how it's not.
it's just because Lamar has the rushing
Lamar's
stats
going
too.
crazy.
That's the only.
They're regular though.
I hear you. This is no disrespect to Jared Goff. I got to just call it like I see it. Lamar has the rushing stats to go with everything else.
They're a regular team. They got 3 losses.
I hear you. But people put Josh Allen at 1. I mean, I'm just saying, like,
He's the best player on the best team, and he's had 4 of the best weeks in the history of the sport.
I agree
I'm going
with
to
that.
premise what I say based on what you said. This is nothing personal against Jared Goff. We can't simultaneously sit there and talk about how great Brad Holmes is and the roster he built and not acknowledge that there is greatness around Jared Goff. I would say because of what's not around him, Josh Allen. I would say Josh Allen.
Sam said Josh Allen.
And
Of course he did.
I'll take Jared Goff and the Lions offense all day because of the pieces
then
around
Goff's
him.
the most valuable player then.
But because of what's around him, because of what's not around him and what Josh Allen is dealing with, I'll take Josh Allen.
He got Amari Cooper now, but he did carry them until
100%. I mean, and Amari just came here,
10
obviously.
double-digit touchdowns, no picks until
Do we
last week.
understand that he played the best 4 weeks in the
phenomenal.
history of the quarterback position?
hey.
Not this year, not for the month,
I hate
not in
having
the
these
last
conversations.
decade,
No,
not
seriously.
since Michigan won a lot of national titles and they took trains to games. Ever.
Can I say this, though?
I understand.
KG and I can never win this argument
We
because
can't.
everybody in the chat's going to go, what's your problem with Jared Goff? Nothing.
No,
Nothing.
people are on the Josh Allen thing.
No, nothing. I have no problem with Jared Goff. I have become a believer in the
Right.
last 3
Two
years.
things
Okay,
can be true.
I've confessed my sins. However, I think we have to catch ourselves out of one side of our mouth if we talk about the phenomenal job that Brad Holmes has done, and he can never be questioned. And we talk about all the multiple weapons that we have. I think we also have to say out of the other side of our mouth, what if Jared Goff had, or what if Josh Allen had those weapons? What if Lamar Jackson had those weapons? I don't know.
Well, they've had them. They've had them in their past.
I
look-
know what they're doing without those weapons, and that's all I can base it on. To your point, Neal, that's all I can base it on. All I can do is base it on what Buffalo has at their disposal right now. For him to do as he's done, and to do it without all the turnovers as he's had in the past, I got to give Josh Allen credit. I
Well,
have to
is
give
what
Josh
he's
Allen
doing the
credit.
greatest stretch in the history of NFL football? No,
No.
because Jared Goff is on the greatest
But
stretch
he,
in the
does,
history of
but
NFL
he also
football.
It's
doesn't
facts.
have a phenomenal supporting cast.
And
I think Jared Goff would be the first guy to talk about his supporting cast.
And it just comes down to the age-old question. Okay, Goff is the best QB on the best team. But is it the best QB on the best team, or is it the best QB that's done more for his team? And in that case, I would put Lamar Jackson in doing more for his team. Jared Goff being the best QB on the best team.
If these
You know what
schmucks can
reminds
give
me-
Matt Ryan an MVP, they can give Jared Goff an MVP.
The Ravens aren't even in first place in their division. They're behind the Steelers.
Listen, and you know me, my default mode is always go back to something to hockey. This is almost like the Scotty Bowman argument. Scotty Bowman could have won the Coach of the Year every gosh damn year, okay? It was almost like he was punished for having solid teams around him and being a part in selecting what he had around him.
Yeah.
And I get it. Jared Goff is having historic. You have to acknowledge that. But it's almost as if a lot of people are going to punish him and go, boy, wouldn't it be great if you had a tight end like Sam Laporta? Wouldn't it be great if you had a running back, let alone 2 running backs like the Lions have? Wouldn't it be great if you had 2-3 wide receivers that the Lions have. Wouldn't it be great if you had that offensive line and he didn't have to run around for his life like Josh Allen has to run around?
Yeah.
Who is Lamar's running back? Another MVP candidate?
No, I understand.
Oh,
but,
yeah. So that's why I'm not taking the whole look at Goff's offense thing. I'm not taking it.
But, yeah, you can make that argument for anybody except
he's got the best
Josh
running
Allen.
back in football.
But
with him right
I
now.
understand, but he's doing more from the pocket this year than he's ever done. Like, with his arm, he's killing teams, too.
Has he had weapons in the past?
Not exactly. Zay Flowers, sure. Mark Andrews, to a certain degree, sure. Who else? He's never really had a receiver.
But he does have the best running back in the league this year.
This year, yes.
Okay. And they're in second place in their division? Not as good as the Steelers? Okay, cool.